Hello everyone, and I hope you're enjoying this course so far. We are on the day 7 out of 78 days in which we're exploring reality transurfing concept of reality, which is originally created by Vadim Zeland, quantum physicist. And I've created this short course based on his teachings and writings and also some workshops that I've intended some years ago. Those cards are actually here to visually represent some of the major principles of reality transurfing and make those principles more accessible to everyone. Card of the day is called the illusion of reflection, and its meaning, short meaning, I'm going to be reading now. So, human is like a kitten who doesn't understand that when they look at themselves in the mirror, that they actually see themselves and not some other kitten. So it's the same for people, because it seems that circumstances of life and what they see in their physical reality actually is separated from them. They don't see the connection between the two. So they feel like life actually rules over them. So they don't feel like they can change that. And they usually feel like victims as a result. But it is actually only an illusion, a mirage of sorts, that can be easily changed and start to work in your favor. But only once you get the mechanism behind it, so to speak. Because usually you're unconsciously going around in a specific circle, and the circle is you observe seemingly solid and unchangeable, seemingly objective physical reality. Then you have a certain reaction to it, and then the mirror only confirms it and solidifies it even more. So it becomes a certain loop. And here the reality transurfing suggests actually reversing the whole process. So first you need to look into yourself, and then the physical reality can change as a result. So that would be the short explanation for the card. As you can see on the card, this person is actually really sad, and even looking at that person makes you feel depressed. But and they're actually looking, so they're sitting by a water, and they're looking in the water and looking at their reflection in the water. So because they're so immersed into the water, they don't actually see themselves. They don't see actually this part of the reality, which we were mentioning before. It is a metaphysical part of the reality where self is actually included. But they only look at this part where they see their reflection. And so they don't connect the two, and they're so hypnotized by their own reflection that they're actually not aware that if they could only smile, for example, this reflection could then be easily changed. So Vadim Zeland actually talks here about this wrong loop being created, which would mean observing what is already manifested as something outside of us that actually shape us, whereas a more advanced and conscious approach would be when we see how our own inner self actually creates that those circumstances and shapes that physical reality. And each and every individual here actually creates their own level of the world, or their own kind of manifestation in their own, based on their own belief systems and thoughts and feelings they actually focus on and grow in themselves. So by knowing that, we can actually start by minding our own inner states, which means looking at our thoughts, looking at our feelings, looking at our everyday actions, and work on our integrity in those type of things, and responsibility for the layer of our existence, because we are responsible at the end of the day for what we actually create, and which is actually very liberating in a sense, because then you cannot blame others for your own life, because then you can finally start looking in this direction and reverse actually this reality to come to come and work for you, and to work in your favor, which in reality transurfing is called the outer intention. So instead of complaining about what we see in reflection, we can turn away from it and start shaping our own mental image of the life that we would like to actually see. Because even like a lot of neuroscience-based research and metaphysical research actually shows how brain doesn't see the difference between physical reality and what it imagines. If we know that, we can start shaping this mental image of the desired state that we would like to have. And everyone is different, so they will perhaps desire different things. Not everyone wants to be, I don't know, rich or famous, or but I mean, mostly for spiritually inclined people, this image will consist of following the universe, the grand spirit, and trusting in their divine purpose, as we were talking before, and which we can discover by tapping into those things that actually bring us joy and peace and harmony and happiness. So I would ask you, what is it that you actually like to do, or what do you like to think about? What brings you joy? What brings you peace? And I'm not talking about some temporary joys and some fleeting ego distractions, and it's like not those superficial things, but actually something deeper, like what brings you real meaning to your life, what brings you real value to your existence. So once you tap into those things, and once you actually start following them on everyday basis, and watering those thoughts of that support it, then you can start seeing completely different reflection in this mirror here, or in this water here. So that will be even like a miracle for you, because then you will literally be a witness to how this reality is so vast and mystical, and how your potential is actually grandiose. Thank you so much, my friends. This will be all for today. Share, like, and subscribe if you find those videos valuable, and we will continue with the card number 8 tomorrow. Thank you so much again, and goodbye.